If you're scrolling through endless specs and wondering whether any of them actually translate into a laptop that won't quit on you mid-match, I get it. You want a machine that feels solid the moment you open it, that runs the games you love without screaming for air, and that doesn't drain your wallet the instant you click buy. The fear of splurging on a flashy display only to find you're limited by overheating, or buying a powerhouse that turns out to be a pain to carry around, is real. That's why I spent a few days digging into what the ASUS ROG Strix G18, 2025, really delivers in daily use, not just on the spec sheet. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the size. At 18 inches, this laptop is more of a portable workstation than a traditional gaming notebook. The 2.5K 240Hz panel feels like stepping onto a small TV, textures are crisp, and the 16:10 aspect ratio gives you a little extra vertical real estate that actually matters in open-world titles and productivity apps alike. In practice, though, the large screen means you'll need a bag that can accommodate the chassis, and the weight hovers around the 9-pound mark. If you're the type who hops from coffee shop to couch to dorm room, the G18 will feel like a small desktop you have to lug around. On the other hand, if you primarily game from a fixed spot, a desk, a lounge chair, or a dedicated gaming nook, the sheer screen real estate is a genuine win because you'll see more of the map, more UI, and less need to tilt your head. The heart of the machine is the Intel Core Ultra 9275HX paired with an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5080. In bench tests, this combo can push 4K titles at 60 frames per second, and that translates into smooth frame rates at 1080p and 1440p with ultra settings. In the games I tried Cyberpunk 2077, Elden Ring, and Horizon Forbidden West, the laptop kept well above 70 frames per second on the native 2.5K resolution, and the 240Hz refresh rate meant the motion felt buttery even when I cranked the settings to max. The real test, though, is sustained performance. The RTX 5080 doesn't throttle after the first 10 minutes. The GPU clock stays near its boost peak while the CPU handles background tasks like Discord and streaming without a hitch. That's the kind of consistency that matters when you're grinding a raid or live streaming a marathon session. Cooling is where ASUS really leans into its ROG Intelligent Cooling branding. The laptop uses a dual-fan setup with vapor chamber technology that pushes hot air out through a series of exhausts instead of the typical single vent on the side. In my 3-hour gaming stint, the fans spun up to a moderate whine but never hit a screaming level, and the surface temperature on the palm rest stayed comfortably below 40 C. That said, the cooling solution does raise the chassis slightly on the rear, creating a tiny incline that can be noticeable when you rest the laptop on a flat surface for long periods. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to be aware of if you plan on using the device on a small desk without a stand. Storage is another headline claim, 8 TB of M.2 PCIe SSD. In practice, the laptop ships with a massive 2 TB drive, and the extra slots are there for upgrades. The point is you won't run out of space after a few game installs, and the SSD's NVMe performance means load times are practically instantaneous. I loaded 4 modern AAA titles and a handful of indie games, and each launch took under 5 seconds. If you're the kind of gamer who likes to keep a library of mods, texture packs, or even a media collection on the same drive, the capacity is a real comfort. Just remember that swapping drives isn't a trivial task. You'll need to open the back panel, which can be a bit fiddly if you're not used to laptop maintenance. Now, who should actually reach for the G18? If you're a serious gamer who wants a single device that can double as a content creation workstation, think video editing, 3D rendering, or even software development, the combination of a top-tier CPU, a high-end GPU, and generous RAM, 64GB DDR5, makes sense. The laptop also runs Windows 11 Pro, which offers some enterprise-grade features that power users appreciate, like better virtualization support and remote desktop controls. In short, anyone who needs raw horsepower for both gaming and heavy multitasking will find the G18 a solid fit. Who should walk away? If you prioritize ultra portability, the size and weight make the G18 a bit of a compromise. You'll also find that the price point sits firmly in the high-end bracket, roughly where you could buy a desktop GPU and a decent monitor for the same money. For a gamer who only needs 1080p performance and isn't interested in the extra screen real estate, a 15-inch laptop with a comparable GPU would be more cost-effective. Likewise, if you're a casual player who mainly sticks to indie titles or older games, you'll be paying for performance you'll never fully tap.